Hi everyone, it's Tari from Closeness.com, and I want to welcome you to a course that may become your newest favorite superpower. Now, what you're actually going to get are 10 seduction strategies that will improve your sex life immediately, but we're going to wrap the whole thing up in the context of kissing. Now, you may not believe it, especially as a guy, but kissing is actually a very polarizing subject. It's not something that everyone wants or likes. Heck, you may not even like kissing, in which case this course will be even more beneficial for you. Now, I personally find kissing and making out to be wonderful. I think it's great, especially if you love someone, you have chemistry with them, you like the way they taste, it increases passion. It's a very, very useful and important part of sexual intimacy. I've been incorporating these strategies for almost my entire life, and almost every single one of them has nothing to do with kissing itself. It's doing something else. And I think this is really going to help you and your partner have better sex, share more intimacy, and if you play your cards right, it's very likely that you might open her sexually in a way that you've never seen before. And that, my friends, is the biggest gift that I can give you. Seeing your wife or girlfriend open before your eyes the way she used to when you first met her, or maybe you've never seen her that turned on and that excited. I don't know what better gift you can receive than something like that. So let's take a look at these strategies together. Let me go through a few caveats and a few exceptions and disclaimers before we jump in, and then we'll get to the juicy stuff. So we're talking about why it may not be a good idea to kiss or make out with your wife or girlfriend when you are initiating sex with her or trying to be intimate or sexual. There are a few women where this may not work on her, or it may not be her preference, and I want to talk about those type of women first so you can identify her in the relationship. And believe it or not, guys, it actually starts with you. So if you're the kind of man who never kisses your wife or girlfriend, you never come up and snuggle her, kiss her neck, get your lips in different places on her face, on her mouth, and then when you want sex, out of the blue, you leap right in and want to make out with her, it's likely going to be very off-putting, even if deep down she would really like that kind of passion. So the first thing to know is, already, if you're not kissing your wife at all throughout the day, other than little pecks here and there, hello, goodbye, it's highly advisable that you start doing more of that. And you do it in a nice, sensual way. Maybe you make a kiss linger longer than you normally would. Maybe if you kiss her goodbye for work on the cheek, you actually look at her in her eyes and hold a kiss for a second. This will start to open her up to want to be even closer to you, as long as she still loves you and feels attraction towards you. Now, we can do a whole section on that, but I want to stay focused. Number 2, if you have a wife or girlfriend who is obsessed with kissing, then clearly you should keep doing what works. If she always needs to be attached to your face, if she's always closing her eyes and making out with you, if she leans into you first to kiss, if you try not to kiss her and she's trying to kiss you, well, then it's quite likely that kissing is actually working out for you very well and is a precursor to having sex with your partner. I still think that this feedback and advice will work for you. I still think that there's something you can take from this course, but I don't think that suddenly not kissing her anymore and withdrawing kissing is what's going to allow you to have better, hotter sex. Number 3, I think kissing is great. I love it. I enjoy it. And obviously, given the company name, Closeness, I want you to share more closeness and intimacy. So this is not a trick or a way to have you have less intimacy with your wife. It's about building sexual chemistry, and it's about proximity. Now, if I just opened and said, I'm going to teach you how to be proximate to your wife, I don't know how interested you'd be in the course. But understanding where you stand and where you position your head and your body in relationship to her is actually what's going to determine how turned on and excited she gets. So I'll give you an example. If my hand is you and I'm her, and you bring your face immediately this close to her all the time, it's likely not going to get the same response than if you're here, or here, or here, or back here. This is very up close and personal. And that's the first cue I want you to take from it, is just look. Like, I don't want to speak to someone who's this close in my face all the time, and most women do need a little bit of space themselves. Fourth caveat, I'm not saying you should never kiss your wife. And as I said earlier, it is very important for you to be affectionate towards her throughout the day, to give her love, to give her kisses, and to figure out what works for her. I've been doing this now for over 10 years. And during that period, I've had the opportunity to watch thousands and thousands of couples interact sexually. You can take that how you will, but what I'm trying to say is I watch the beginning parts of intimacy. Seduction, closeness, what a guy does to initiate. And I can tell you that almost 9 out of 10 times when a man zooms in and wants to start making out with her face first, there's one thing I've noticed consistently over the years. This. He comes in and she pulls back. Now, it's not the same pullback when you're in the movie theater and you yawn as a kid and you try to put your arm over her and she like pushes you away, or you put a hand on her breast and she takes your hand immediately off of it and tells you no and reprimands you and it feels awful. I'm talking about the kind of subtle rejection where she doesn't want to hurt you because she loves you and she doesn't want to get you upset or make you angry, but she also wants to be intimate. But she has to let you know that there's a little bit of a boundary, so she pulls back and just like, look at how subtle this is. That's it. That's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like from the side. If you can't see that or notice that, you're likely going to come in like a bulldog or steamroll the whole thing. Now, it's also a whole other topic to decide how assertive and aggressive do you want to be? How passionate do you want to be? Does she like when you take the lead and take over? And friends, believe me, many women do want you to be passionate with them and assertive. And with everything we've seen in Hollywood movies, two people come together and they don't go like this, and they don't go like this, and they don't go like this. They have a kiss. It looks like the right thing to do. It looks like how you always get lost in passion. Their faces are locked. They're pressing each other against the wall, and everything happens from there. I think it's great. I think having a passionate sexual encounter like that is and can be awesome in the moment. Think of all those Hollywood movies you've seen where that happens for the first time they've had sex. And then notice as the movie goes on, everything is normal. They're acting a little different towards one another. They have a little bit of chemistry, but they're not all over each other all the time. They're not making out all the time. They're not kissing all the time. It's like for that one moment. And I think that for a lot of you, understanding that will actually make your sex better, that it doesn't have to start with this explosive, passionate kiss all the time, or making out and tongue down her throat all the time, or God forbid this, repeatedly over and over again while you're taking off. It's like, oh, shirt comes off. Okay, other part of your clothing comes off, bra comes off. And you're lost in this like lip lock of repetitive pecking and kissing. It's not terribly romantic. It's not terribly sexy. It's not ideal. What do I suggest you do instead? Don't kiss her. Sometimes don't kiss her at all in the beginning. If you could not use your mouth, what would you do? Now, I hope that you're actually watching this with your female partner so she can concur with you and agree or give you her opinion or tell you what she prefers. And again, if you happen to be with the kissing fanatic, sprinkle this advice in. Sprinkle it in here and there. It will still be effective. But if you couldn't use your mouth, what would you do? And if you knew that every time you come in, your woman cringes a little bit or tightens up or gets through the kissing or possibly doesn't like the way you kiss, doesn't like the way you make out, doesn't like your whiskers or hair touching her, doesn't like your breath or the way you use your tongue, all these are factors that need to be cleaned up as well. So feel free to pause the audio now and ask yourself what you would do if you couldn't use your mouth. Most men have absolutely no idea, and this is why you investing in this program is gold. When you can't use your mouth, you have to become creative and you have to become sensual You have to figure out how to seduce or interact with her without the usual, oh, I just close my eyes, I get lost in the moment, and we're here like this, and then just stuff happens. And this is why people often describe that sex just happened or one thing led to another. It's because we kind of black out. So my first recommendation to you would be to be extremely present. Present means you don't close your eyes. You don't get lost in the moment. You're not thinking about like, what's the next step and how do I get there? Do you see how even when I close my eyes in the video, when I do this just for a second, it looks a little silly? It looks like, wait, why isn't he present with me? Even notice how if I look away somewhere else on the monitor or outside while I'm talking to you, you feel like I'm distracted, you know? Checking my phone. What else do I have going on? Looking through things. That kind of lack of attention, women hate. Women love having your attention on them. They want your presence. When you're this close and you're trying to make out with her, she can't feel you because there's so much of you right here. Everything in sex and intimacy is yes and no. Everything in sex and intimacy is that's true, that's not true. And here's one of them. Closeness feels best when your bodies are pressed together. You don't want to have sex like this, for the most part. A lot of people want that up close and personal feeling. You want skin on skin contact. You want to feel her chest. She wants to feel yours. You want to feel her body against yours. All of those things feel really good. But when you're pressed up together like this through the whole experience, it becomes very unconscious. So, step one, presence. You're going to hear this come up time and time again through all of my programs. You're lost without it. If you're distracted, if you're thinking about something else, if you're just looking in a different direction a little bit, feel how uncomfortable it is to even watch this video with me looking a couple inches over there. It matters. You want your attention on her. And by the way, not her breasts, okay? Here again, if I'm enjoying her chest or sucking on her nipples or playing with her body and I'm looking down here, she's up here doing this. Often, especially if she doesn't have sensitivity there. Maybe for a moment she looks down, she's like, oh, that's so nice, that's so passionate. She watches, but after a moment the connection dies. You have to be more present. And you can see that ties right into number 2, eye contact. Direct eye contact is an art form. I'm going to cover it very briefly here, but for the most part, you don't want to stare without blinking and like lean in and make it a staring contest. You don't want to make faces and be silly and playful. Being silly and playful is great, but when you're building sexual tension, it kind of throws it out the window if you're both giggling and laughing all the time. You don't want to be wide-eyed. You don't want to have your eyes darting all over the place. You don't want to take quick moments of eye contact. You don't want to have tight lips. All of these things matter, and I think a lot of times with eye contact, it's more about what you shouldn't do than it is what you should do. But know that as long as you're blinking at a normal rate and you're having healthy eye contact, it's a very, very good thing. Try not to lurch and try not to lean too far back. Eye contact by far is one of the most important things when you're building sexual tension. The third thing you want to think about when you're kissing or not kissing your wife is your proximity to her. Here again, this might be too far away, but clearly this is too close. This is too close for communication. This is too close for building sexual anticipation and attraction. As you start to get about here, like where my eyes can focus in and see you, over here, or behind, now you have the ability to build something and the ability to do something. So finally we get into what should you do? The fourth thing you can do to increase sexual attraction when not kissing your partner is to start touching her anywhere else or everywhere else. Some places include hips, waist, under her chest, head, neck, hands through her hair. For some women, it might even look like hands on her throat. For some women, it might look like feeling her chest or her butt, insides of her legs. touching anywhere but your mouth to hers while maintaining eye contact and being present in a certain proximity is the secret recipe for wonderful, wonderful enticement, seduction, and frankly, exactly what you want, which is hot, passionate sex. But there is one more caveat, and that's number 5. You cannot touch her everywhere at once. And a lot of guys do this too. They do the opposite of what I just described. They close their eyes, they lean in too much, they're trying to kiss, and their hands are like, doing this and this and this and this and this, and just like aimlessly wandering throughout her body. A woman can't read that. Again, if you just watch, and I realize, you're watching a man touch himself, but if I take my finger and I just go like this is really easy to track and easy to follow. If I do this to myself, this just looks like, what the heck are you doing? This doesn't look like anything interesting if I'm just rubbing my arms or rubbing my legs, but it's the single hand caress or doing something with both hands where you're rubbing her hips. These kinds of things are felt and they make an impact and they are growing sexual tension. So number 6 is to create something I like to call sexual tension. You'll hear me talk about it in all the other programs and episodes and live. Sexual tension is required, not really an option for a woman to have a good time. You can't take a woman A to Z like this and expect her to have a wonderful experience unless she is a highly sexual woman who is highly attracted to you, who wants to fuck you in the moment, and she's just ready to go at any time. And her vagina shows you that. She's dripping wet, she's soaking, and you can go right in and have at it. But unless you have all that, or most of that, you can't jump A to Z without building some kind of sexual tension. Now, if you're really good at it, you can do it in 3 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, and sometimes 13 minutes. If you're not so good at it, it might take you days of building it. It might take you hours to build it. Or in the moment, it may take a long time for sex to start feeling good. And this is what leads a lot of unconscious husbands to say, you'll get used to it. Go ahead, let's just start and you'll start liking it. Do you know what you're saying to a woman when you're telling her that? Deal with this pain and deal with this I don't like this, I don't want this. And then when your body finally catches up and wakes up and warms up and starts feeling good, well, then it will be okay because, hey, in the end, it felt good. This is like the worst thing you can do. You really don't want to be doing any of this until she is really open and warm down there. And the answer to that is building sexual tension. Now, the 7th secret to your kissless seduction is to keep allowing the sexual tension to build. Men, I always talk about in all my sessions, it's like they have a needle, maybe it's their cock, and they pop it every chance they get. As soon as things start to feel tense or uncomfortable or arousing, pop, let me stick it in. Pop, I cracked a joke. Pop, I had to get sarcastic and loud. I don't know what it is about guys who feel the need to constantly break sexual tension when their woman is just starting to wake up and get aroused. You want to keep the tension on. You can think of it as holding a string, and when you let go of the tension or when you bring your hands closer together, the string goes slack. You could think of it as intense eye contact, and when you break it for too long of a period of time, the line goes slack. You want to keep it on. I want to remind you, though, that doesn't mean I'm just like in here the whole time, looking in her eyes, and I'm not breathing because Tari said keep the tension on. It's subtle. It's a dance. You're allowed to look away and touch her and get into her and come back. It just doesn't need to be all right here, and it doesn't need to be all right here like this. It's somewhere in between. Number 8, and perhaps the biggest secret of all, is you need to do 10 to 20 or more different things to really open a woman up and have her feel ready to have sex with you. It's not, oh, well, Tari said rub on her hips, why isn't she ready? Oh, he said not to kiss her, she doesn't want to have sex with me. It's a whole series of things that you string together in your own way that creates your own seduction. So, to initiate, even with a woman who loves to kiss, I call this moving the train forward. I call this enticing or seducing. I call this amping your woman up or spiking her emotions. I call this getting her aroused and excited. You can't just slap her ass. You can't just make out with her. You can't just rub on her hips. You can't just pull her hair, put your hand on her throat, and expect that most women are going to be ready for sex. Again, there's that special kind of woman who, if she's super into you and you guys have that raw primal chemistry and almost like the wind blows and she's soaking wet or has an orgasm, or she can have vaginal orgasms through penetration, that's a different kind of mammal. And for a lot of guys, if you're with someone like this, you've kind of hit the jackpot. For everyone else and ladies who aren't like that, don't worry, you're not broken. This is not abnormal. It's more normal for you to need all of these extra steps. So, 10 to 20 different things that build that are not just stick it in, they're not just kissing, they're not just getting off her clothes, you're putting things together. All right, number 9, we're almost there, and it's finally time to think about kissing if you even decide to do it. So here's a little caveat for this one. You can have a hot, close, passionate, connected, sexual experience without ever kissing your wife or partner on the lips even once. I'm not saying you should do this all the time. I'm not saying this should be your new default. I'm not saying that you should do that and also be disrespectful to her and cold and distant and create all of this confusion like, we did the act, but I never felt you. I couldn't feel your presence. I'm just very clearly saying that you can go through the whole act without kissing her and still be loving, close, passionate, kiss her everywhere else, and she can have an extraordinary time. I do think that many, if not most women, require some kissing at some point to feel connected because it's just what we're raised to think. It's like, this is what it means to be close or intimate with someone or to care for them or to show them love. So I do think kissing is very important. But number 9 is all about introducing the kiss after you've done all of these things. You've been present, you've had eye contact, you've pulled her into you, you're rubbing on her, you're loving on her, you've done 5, 10, 15 little things. It might be a turn, it might be coming up behind her, it might be fondling her a little bit, it might be playing with her breasts for a moment, it might be kissing her neck and kissing down her neck or sucking on her ear. You can use your mouth. Finally, you decide you're going to kiss her. And that, when you've built up all of that sexual tension and all of that anticipation, that is when you get to number 10, do it passionately. That's when you can get lost. That's when you can unleash. That's when you can deliver her this like, whoa, where did that come from? If she was just taking care of the kids all day or working or running around or cooking dinner and you come in and you're just passionately making out with her in her face, it's not going to have the same effect than if you took the time to build all of these steps. I'll say it again. You can minimize all the time it takes to do those 10 things down to seconds and minutes. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying try to squelch it down because guys are all about efficiencies. It's like, how do I affect something the most with the least possible effort? That's not what we're going for here. I'm not saying try to compress it down. I'm just saying a lot of guys get discouraged because they think it's going to take hours to do something like this, days, or they're just going to be in agony building sexual. Oh, when do I get to have sex? Why do I have to go through all this? It was so much easier when we were younger. And I don't want to go through that journey either. When I'm intimate with a woman, I'm not thinking I got to get through 50 steps to get there. It's happening in a compressed amount of time because I know how to activate that quickly. That's where I come back to this everything is yes and no, black and white. The goal is not to get to the end of the finish line as quickly as possible and win the race. It's also not to take as long of time as possible. But as you get better at it, sexual tension can build more quickly. And your kiss will be much more valuable at the end. Now you can still use it sparingly. You can come in for that passionate moment, put yourself inside of her and go to the races and have this amazing sex. You can have your face planted against her if you want to do that and you think she likes that. Or, instead of just having sex like this is your butt here, sit up and do it like this so you can continue to look at her and enjoy her. All of these secrets took a half an hour of your time? But if you can apply them correctly, things will change in your relationship, assuming that your woman does love you or like you and is attracted to you. Finally, and to wind down, I recommend doing these kinds of things all the time. I talk about it everywhere, creating an atmosphere of sexuality. This isn't a one-time thing. This isn't birthday sex. This isn't something you do for her once annually. These are the kinds of things that you want to put into action all the time. All the time. And I think you'll notice that especially giving her space, right? How many times have you heard your wife or girlfriend ask you for some space? Physical space from her. And don't come in trying to attack her with the kissing right away. You're going to see a magnificent difference in how her body opens and responds to you. I like to think of kissing as something, it's like salt. You need it. You've got to have it. It's part of season. Like when you put a steak on the grill, you season it. If you're going to roast healthy vegetables, you sprinkle seasoning on. You do too much, you don't want to go near it. The dish is ruined when it's oversalted. When it's not there, what do you feel like? Something's missing. God, that sex was good. It had all the right parts to it, but I just feel like I'm left wanting something. I'm wanting something more, and that's that passionate kiss, but not insane amounts of salt and kissing sprinkled all over the dish the entire time. Well, I think that's a phenomenal place to stop. If this is confusing for you, or there are concepts that you want to elaborate on, this is where I recommend coming in for a session, flying in for a session, coming internationally for a session, as some people have done, and doing a closeness coaching session with your partner. This is how I've come to know all this after all these years. I do this with people and I facilitate interactions. It doesn't mean you have to get naked. It doesn't mean you have to have sex in front of me, but I think you'll be shocked at what getting some coaching on the initial parts of the interactions can do. It's unreal, the amount of feedback and coaching that I can give you to improve your sex life. And of course, having your female partner there, nodding her head or getting red in the cheeks or her face flushing red or her eyes dilating, and all of these wonderful signs when she's getting turned on for you are great for you to see firsthand. And then you get to take the whole thing home with you and use it for the rest of your life. So I hope you found this course helpful. You can get a hold of me by visiting closeness.com. You can visit the Closeness Telegram group, which is called Closeness. But I strongly recommend continuing your education by listening to the Closeness podcast, which is available everywhere podcasts can be found. Plus, I've got an entire collection of these videos and shorts to keep you on the path. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll either see you in my office or the next program.